All right, in virtual desktop in front of the X-Arcade2TV. So far I've been using the Gen 1 dongle, which was included um, with the X-Arcade2TV. If you get the haptics kit, then you get the Gen 2 dongle, and the Gen 2 dongle has different modes that you can cycle through, and it'll support like a keyboard mode and XInput, and I think direct input as well. But I don't have the Gen 2 dongle. I've been using the Gen 1, and what we've learned from that is it uses these keyboard commands. And these are meant to be used on your standalone apps like Pinball FX BR and Arcade Ranger. But if you don't have the X-Arcade2TV hooked up to a PC directly, then these will also go through to the desktop. And I've shown that before, and we'll show it again here. That's after we get into the test, but right now, just that this is off. And my X-Arcade2TV hasn't been hooked up because my headless PC is in another room. It's far away, so I'm not going to run a USB cable that far, and the X-Arcade2TV doesn't have Bluetooth support other than through these dongles right now. I think they're working on it, but it's not built in. So what I'm using now is VirtualHere. There is a VirtualHere software on Steam. I'm not using this. This is a version, I guess, specifically for Steam Link. I think it's for sharing USB devices hooked up to your PC, but this is not what I'm using. I'm going directly to virtualhere.com, and I'm setting up the Linux USB server on a, in this instance, it's a Raspberry Pi Zero device, where you purchase a license. I have and can download the image to install from here. So I've got a Pi Zero, and I've got a hat installed on it, which gives it Ethernet and then this little case. So that's my Pi Zero. Right now it's just hooked up to power, and this green cable is what's connected to the USB data connection of the X-Arcade2TV. So I've got USB-A here and that USB-B connection at the back for data. And the X-Arcade2TV is also, it's plugged into power, and then this is also plugged into power. But with that connection, I can put this anywhere, because this is, right now I've also got this set up on Wi-Fi. With the hat, I can plug it in to Ethernet for better connectivity, and I usually do, but for right now I'm just demoing it wireless, so you can see that it can be used anywhere, just so long as you can get power. The other connection here is Bluetooth, but it's a Bluetooth adapter that we'll talk about in just a second. So let's look at, so this is the VirtualHere server side of things, where you hook up the devices that you want to share. And this can be anywhere. Now in virtual desktop, I'm on my computer, and it's running not the server, but it's running the client. This is also downloaded from virtualhere.com. And this can run as a service, but right now it's listing my servers. So I've only got this one server. It's recognized as a Raspberry Hub, and then it's listing the devices that are connected. So the Bluetooth adapter is here, Ugreen BT6. The Arcade2TV is showing up in KM, so I think that's keyboard mode. And the 0x111, that's actually the mouse. There, here it is. Now you can see the mouse control. So it's a trackball showing up as a mouse. If I were to well, right now I've got it saying use every device. So I'm going to turn that off so I can disable this one, stop using this device. So it's gone, still recognizing the device, but now trackball is no longer working as a mouse. That's how I know that this is the mouse. So when you switch modes between keyboard, XInput, and direct input, the mouse is always there. So it's not specifically just keyboard and mouse. The thing to notice about the Bluetooth here is on Windows, you can only have one Bluetooth adapter at a time. So the built-in Bluetooth, I had to disable. So I have Intel Bluetooth on my PC normally, but that's too far away to connect, like my game controller. So that's why I have this Bluetooth disabled, and now that means I can connect this Bluetooth adapter here, connect my gamepad to it, and my PC in the attic can still use this like it's getting its Bluetooth from right here. And so in the living room where I would actually use it. So it's got a good signal, and then it's going over, well, right now it's going over Wi-Fi to the computer, but if it's wired, then I get a better connection. But the Wi-Fi is working good enough. If X-Arcade2TV did add Bluetooth support, I could potentially connect it to this Bluetooth adapter as well, instead of using this data cable. But if there was some reason that the VirtualHere server could not be directly next, within cable length of the X-Arcade2TV, seems like a less likely scenario. So that's the server, which lets you connect devices to it. So here I'm connecting Bluetooth for whatever devices I need, and the X-Arcade2TV. Now, the X-Arcade, well, this Gen 1 dongle only has those keyboard mode. When I'm plugged in with a data cable, it supports different modes, and by default it's in this keyboard mode. But to change, let's look at the dock. So this is showing the different modes. Let me see, it's up ahead. Yeah, so these are the keys. So 1 is keyboard mode, 2 is direct input, and 3 is XInput. And to switch it, you press and hold 1 through 3, the 1 through 2 or 3, third button, and you hit player 1 for 5 seconds. It's not this player 1, it's the mode, the touch sensitive mode. So it's this one right here that you hold for 5 seconds. And then this will flash, and it'll flash red to say it's going into keyboard mode, blue for direct input mode, and green for XInput mode. For Xbox is green, of course. I thought that was a pretty nice little touch. And if we go up to the key mappings, so this shows you what keyboard mode is. These controls are unfamiliar to me, but this apparently is MAME, and so we'll show you that in a second. Direct input mode is here, and XInput mode, which we can use a tool to test that input. But for now, we're on X-Arcade2TV keyboard. I've got a little tool here that's a tester. This is Game Controller Tester, is one that I like. It's because it kind of tests a little bit of everything. It's available on itch.io for like $5. But right now I've got it in keyboard mode, and as I'm interacting, see C and 5, and then this should be the, yeah. So these are the MAME. This is showing that it's getting the MAME mapping from being in keyboard mode. Now if I go back, We'll see about mice. I don't know if it connects the gamepad. Oh, right now it's finding this mouse. Let's see if it gets the trackball mouse. Yeah, it sure is. When the trackball mouse is over the window, it notices it, or whenever this mouse is over it. But if I get the trackball over it, yeah. So it's getting that as a mouse input. Let's go back. Now let's change into another mode. Or actually, let's show RetroArch first to show you that it's working for MAME. So here, I've gotten Steam. I'm going to set down the touch controller. And we can see that if I select here, I can go back. But this would let me play. I'm not going to demo it, but I'd be able to load a core, load a ROM, and then play. For now, we're just going to exit out. That is the keyboard. Now let's switch to direct input. So it's hold this and then press the P1 mode for 5 seconds, and you'll see it flash and it'll blink blue for direct input. Okay. Now we can watch the VirtualHere client. It's going to cycle because it's going to go out of the keyboard mode and then recognize the new direct input mode. So it's automatically switched. All right, so here is where I'm going to turn back on the automatically connect. So the mouse will get connected. So I use that automatically connect all the time. I just leave that on. I was doing it for demo purposes. But now we're in direct input. So let's bring up the tester again. This time we'll do a controller. So it's showing that there's two. Balion Industry wired controller and DM, I guess DM for direct input. And if I use the stick, you can see it's getting control DM hat center. Now let's try the other stick to see if we can get a difference. At least I'm not seeing anything that's telling me it's a different joystick. I guess I would know from if it's number 3 or number 4 joystick that's doing it. The buttons though, they're all mapped. So we can see that we are getting direct input. I think these are the triggers. They basically go, to max. And then I think these are the shoulder buttons. So that's direct input working. And now let's go to XInput. So hold here and then wait for it to flash green for 5 seconds. Okay. We should watch this disconnect the direct input mode and then switch over to XInput mode. And this time it should automatically use the device as well. The in use means that only one device can use it at the time. So even though I've got X-Arcade2TV hooked up here, in theory I could run the client on an entirely another computer. Maybe I had one computer set up for pinball and another one set up for arcade. And both of them could have a client listening to this hub, but one of them could use the X-Arcade at the time. I could be able to switch between, oh, I'm going to do pinball now, or I'm going to do arcade now, and just so long as the other one disabled it, I could switch over to the other one. But this one, we can see it, direct input went away. Now we have this TS for the X, for X input. So let's open up the tester again. And this is also a controller. So now it's showing Xbox 3 controllers, 4 and 3. So same thing. Everything's working. Analog stick, player 1, back button, the triggers, shoulder buttons. So this one's, well, for player 2, you've got, also working. So that is great. Okay, now the other thing's interesting is like, okay, let me go back to Notepad. Here's where I was doing some testing. This is all working perfect. Like, so the way you can do though, you're supposed to use this X-Arcade2TV application. I could have used this for testing. Now it's at least working partially because it does recognize the that it is in an XInput mode. And if I switch this, it'll also switch. But right now it's not showing any mapping. And well, let's switch to keyboard mode right now because I need to do that. So here, I'm gonna hold here and then for 5 seconds, it'll flash red. Okay. And then, so it's right now it's saying here, no device is found, and this is gonna lose the XInput as well. All right, so it's spinning up. This is switched to, now it knows it's in keyboard and mouse, and this is in keyboard and mouse. But here's where I'm getting, it's failing to get the proper handshake. So I can't actually use this, like the trackball I could test here, and otherwise in keyboard and mouse I could test here, and it would show me the mappings. But the handshake is failing over VirtualHere. And VirtualHere I've used before mainly for like Xbox controllers and Bluetooth and stuff like that. But not everything has always worked for me. I was trying to use an Xbox adapter on VirtualHere, and at least on this one I could not get the Xbox adapter instead of Bluetooth to work on this VirtualHere. I don't know if it's just underpowered or I didn't get the install right. I haven't retried, but I have updated the server software on there here, but I haven't retried it. But it is the latest server software. But if I look at it when I'm setting it up on the Pi, I can get a status, and so this is saying it's found some devices. So it found the bowel end industry. That's the stuff that we were seeing earlier. It found some hubs. Now I get this warning: could not open device product file. I don't know if that's the problem that I'm running into, that's not able to do the handshake. But for some reason the handshake is failing, so I'm not able to use this, at least on my Pi, to set this up. If I was gonna do this setup though, there's a Mac, there's a website that they've set up that you can do the same sort of stuff on a website on the Mac. I would do that, or that's what I did at least now for initially when I did the firmware upgrade, because I am on the latest firmware upgrade for the Gen 1 dongle. I'm not on the I don't have Gen 2. So just close that and close this. And the last thing we want to look at, oh, I need Notepad again, sorry. So here I am in keyboard and mouse mode, so we can see that, I am getting the keyboards, but the question is, well, what happens if I put the dongle in? So let me very carefully try to do this. Okay, I've got the dongle in. I'm going to power it, even though I don't think it works with the Bobo head strap. All right, so I've got the Gen 1 dongle in, and well, what am I getting? Which keyboard's going to win? Is it going to be the data connection, or is it going to be the Gen 1 dongle? And so we can see that it's definitely the Gen 1, not the data cable is winning. It's this keyboard mode. It is not the Gen 1 dongle mode. Oops, sorry. Misclick. So I'm not getting this input here. So I tried disabling the keyboard and mouse to get it to work. To say like, how can I get the Gen 1 dongle now passing through? The trick is to unplug it. And so now that I've unplugged, now I am getting, it's no longer the MAME controls. These aren't working as a directional. So if the X-Arcade2TV is unplugged, then you will get the Gen 1 dongle keyboard input sent to the computer. But plug it back in, you can see that it's hooked into keyboard mode. Now I'm back to getting the keyboard mode commands, and it's set up to work for MAME. I mean, the last thing I will need to do is at some point get a Gen 2 dongle and then see how that affects things. But I'm holding out to where I'll probably get a haptic kit at some point. That's all.